Howdy, y'all, and welcome to the EEARSS podcast produced by Terrier TV. I want to give a quick shout out and thank you to Edna Wilson with Celebrate Remax Aerospace for sponsoring our program. If any of your home buying or selling needs, look to ednawilson.com. She can help you out. What up, guys? Howdy. How's it going? What's new and exciting? Tell me all the things.
The look you just had on your face, Bill.
Don't talk to him. Just don't talk to him.
Like, make me wonder. Like, are they going to reply or are they not going to reply? I don't know.
I don't know. It's end of the week.
End of the week?
End of the week.
You're wearing the fish
long
shirt
week
again.
for you?
Yes.
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 You got the multicolored shark?
That's.
What does that mean?
It's Norman, the golfer, Greg Norman, I think.
Greg Norman? He has his own shirt line?
Yeah, he has his own shirt line.
Where did I miss that from? I didn't know that was a thing.
Oh, yeah.
Huh.
Get him at Sam's Club.
Okay, fair enough. I did not know that.
Buy them in bulk.
Yeah, you buy like a bundle of them, I think.
We were talking before the podcast. I ran across your daughter at the football game, week before last? Because I'm glad you're feeling better this week.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, we missed you last week. That was a pretty cool conversation with Brandon Moore. We'll have him back on again, I'm sure, as the guy's got a lot of things to say, a lot of things to tell that are very entertaining. But I said, "What up? How's it going?" She looked at me and like blank stare, walked right by. I was like, "Oh, I'm okay."
Congratulations,
I'm an adult now.
You are officially part of the inner circle. You got the parent treatment in
Fair
public.
Enough. I respect that. It's the beard, probably. I'd be worried about hanging out with me too.
Blame the beard.
I always blame the beard. It's got gray in it now,
has
so it makes sense.
Nothing to do with the funny noises that you make or anything like that. It's the beard.
Yeah, I mean, I normally don't smell funny, so I got at least that.
No, you got that going for you.
Yeah. All right, you guys ready to jump in and talk into our guest today?
Of course.
Let's do it.
All right, before I butcher his name, let me see if I can actually get it right.
Let's see.
Yeah, let's see. So today on the podcast, we are joined by John Guarnieri. Did I get it right, John?
Yes.
Yes, thank goodness gracious. So John is part of Silver Spear Security, and he also has the Spear Talk podcast. What is there you don't do, John? Let's start with that. I thought I was busy and did a lot of things until I started watching you and your social media. Dear goodness gracious, man.
It's funny. I get asked it a lot. It's, for me, my actual job and career is in protection security, touring the world with bands and celebrities, doing that type of stuff. So then when the pandemic happened, I kind of lost that for a couple of years, right? I mean, I was still doing stuff that involved security, but when I started the podcast, Spear Talk, it gave me a whole other outlet to kind of explore, like, and reestablish my love of reading and research and that type of thing. And so when it's firing on all cylinders right now, it's almost like the perfect yin and yang for me, where one helps the other with my mental health. And it kind of, when I don't have to do security work on my day off like today, I'm in Rhode Island, just in the hotel room, mess around. I can read, I can research, I can plan my new podcast guests or go down a rabbit hole of subject matter, watching YouTube about stuff. Then when I'm working, I focus on my work, and it kind of just keeps me sane. Like, I don't know, I thrive in the chaos of it. And even still, like, when I have my other hobbies I do, whether it's fishing or hiking and stuff like that, I don't know, I love the idea of always moving, the constant, I don't want to be stagnant with whatever I do, whether it's mental or physical. And so it's kind of therapeutic for me. I love it.
No, you're like me. You're a hummingbird. That's the way I roll too. I gotta keep going and doing things. If my mind is not working, my body's not working, I feel like there's something wrong.
And for me, it's like I have my own inner competition with myself about no matter what it is, I want to be the best version of myself each day. And so when I go to bed, I have like this weird sensation of FOMO where I really only need 5-6 hours of sleep a day because I'm worried that there's someone out there doing a better job than I am right now, somewhere else in the world, in a different time zone, either podcasting or working. I get so excited to wake up and like establish myself again. And I don't know, it's such a weird, I love the idea of being alive.
That's how you make yourself the best at what you are too. That's how you make sure you are the best at what you're doing. I'm the same way. I go to sleep thinking about things like that, and I'll wake up weird hours of the night and start taking notes and thinking about them too. And like, man, what can I do better? What can I make better tomorrow?
I'll go to restaurants or like I take notes on like old Sudoku puzzles or receipts, random trash I have in my car where I'm just like, I got to keep this thought because I'm going to either forget to research it or figure out what the hell I'm trying to organize in my head.
That's funny. Yeah, I understand that too well. Yeah, I understand that too well. So tell us a little bit about you're in the security world now. How did you get there? Tell us about your career path, how you got to where you're at.
So it's I'll kind of truncate it, but so I went to military college, Norwich University, just like 45 minutes south of Burlington, Vermont. It's the oldest military college in the country. The guy that graduated from there actually founded West Point. And so I had this whole idea in my head. I wanted to work on a submarine. I wanted to commission in the Navy or something cool like that based on all the Jack Ryan books and all that Tom Clancy stuff. And I've had uncles and stuff that served the Navy SEALs and grandfathers and everything that served war and combat and all that stuff. And so I wanted to go there. I loved the structure of it. I was raised by two parents that make your bed, brush your teeth, all the little details that will make your life better. And I just love that environment. So I was loving it. Sophomore year, I'm ready to sign paperwork. I'm about to. When I graduated Norwich, I could have graduated as a second lieutenant in the Navy. But it turns out my dad had a brain aneurysm. He was in a coma for a couple of months. My biggest fear was when I started sophomore year of college. This is back in 2005. I was afraid that if I got shipped or deployed somewhere that I couldn't take care of my mom if something, God forbid, my dad passed away or my younger sisters at the time. And so my buddy, who was a year ahead of me, had started the process for the Secret Service, and he gets through all the way through, makes it. He's leading the motorcade units on the motorcycles or all around the world with POTUS. And he's like, John, you would love this. Put all your eggs in the basket. You can still do kind of like your serving and protecting type thing, but it's obviously not military. And so I did that. And that whole process, I eventually got through. And I was working this job in 2008, for like 3 weeks in the summer, where I was ripping out installation and stuff like flood damage in Massachusetts. It was I loved it because the people I worked with are crazy animal people. But like, it wasn't for me. Like, I love the hard work, but it wasn't the work I wanted to do. And I got a call, and sure enough, I passed all the training in Glencoe, Georgia, which is under the Department of Homeland Security down there. And then you graduate that class, and you spend the next 3 to 4 months up in Beltsville, Maryland, which is very specific, obviously, to the Secret Service. Everything from rope lines and helicopter crashes to self-defense, counterfeit, drug, everything associated with that branch of the government. You pass that, and then I spent until 2014 in D.C. With the Obama administration doing that. And so fast forward through all 2012, where the campaign year with Mitt Romney and Obama went neck and neck or whatever. And I went through a bad divorce, no kids or anything like that, but it just made me I just felt like garbage. And so if I had kids, like some people I know in this industry, it would have been exponentially that much worse. And I was noticing myself drinking on days where I could drink more than I normally did, just to kind of hide or just mask the pain I was feeling. And so I had 2 days off in 2013, and I met my current CEO and partner in the security firm now. He was doing security for Charlie Sheen when he got fired from his TV show. And so I see Chris in the corner, and I approach him because obviously I know what he's doing there, what his purpose is, and we hit it off really well. He said, hey, the minute you get tired of the politics of the government, sure, the entertainment industry has its own politics, but we can be our own boss out here. In 2014, I made that call, I made that switch, and it was a smooth transition. I've been doing it ever since. So I just spent the last year running security for the Motley Crue Def Leppard Stadium tour around the world, and I'm out here now with Shinedown. So I'm truly blessed, and it's kind of where I'm not one of those guys that's into the tactical aspect of nomenclature and tactical boots and knives. That's not my style. It serves other people, but in my world, the practicality of what I do that's what makes me happy. And so that's kind of what I do in my security world.
What did you bring from the Secret Service side to what you're doing now? I mean, do you guys legitimately go for these concerts? Do you go there ahead of time, ahead of the bands, and kind of check everything out and see what's going on?
Yeah. So depending on, say, one of our clients is Morgan Wallen. So obviously it's a bigger body of people that we have out there working. There's advanced teams and stuff like that. So one of the jobs for me, if I'm doing another tour, the advance process starts about 6 months out. I'll reach out to the venues. Now, to kind of go back a little bit, once you establish kind of like a relationship with these venues, you're going to see these people at least once a year, or for sure every 2 years. Now, there might be some personnel changes, but the structure of the venues and the policies don't really change. So when you continue the advance process as you go through your career here, you've already forged relationships where I could text the backstage supervisor at any one of these arenas in the country, and we can hit it off and figure out what the plan of attack is for a show 6 months down the line. So advance work is where you save a lot of the hassle of coming in on a show day trying to figure out what the hell's going on. If there's a active shooter situation or a fire, like evacuation routes, and all that little stuff like that, you try and figure out. So it's when I'm out here doing my the personal stuff with the band, it's tough. I can't really just go away and check somebody out. So again, it takes the networking, the team around you, and just again the preparation is what is. It's the fun part for me, and it makes my headaches less severe because if you do a good enough job, just like you would know if you're out there doing your stuff, it's like as much as you know beforehand before you actually do it, your days will be that much easier. So I'm fortunate to have people around me and work relationships with people around the world that make my job that much easier.
Yeah, it's always nice to know what you're walking into and trust the people you're going to work with. That's a beautiful thing. So in this world of security, you must come across some really unique individuals with some very interesting ideas on things. What's some of the strangest security interactions you came across?
I'm dealing with one right now. So the other aspect of what we do, we have a PI aspect to our company, and so we have a A-level artist who just got sent a letter, a wedding invite, and a clump of chopped hair, her hair, to this artist's house, basically saying, hey, leave your wife. We're going to have our own kid together. I need to be with you. Your music saved my life. And so I literally spent all day yesterday on my day off out here, literally tracking down where this person works, where they live, addresses, cell phones, all this stuff. And now we're going to do the next step where it's like getting law enforcement involved with restraining orders, type crazy stuff like that. But the stalker situations are crazy. I've been in Russia where I'll be with artists where you switch rooms just to make sure the singer or the person that everyone kind of knows is, because even there when you travel South America, I don't trust the hotels. They're always paying people where people are staying, all this stuff. But I walked into a room in Russia. This is obviously not recent times, but I walked in there. There's a girl in my room, already in my room, and so it's just crazy stuff like that. It's just I'm so numb to it, and you just deal with it professionally, and it gets handled. But the stalker stuff and some of the crazy letters, and because like music saves lives. Like it's just people just gravitate towards the arts, and it's like after the pandemic, when people were told they can't go to concerts or theater or Broadway or can't go to their gyms or churches, and where people get these social interactions, it really made some of the crazy people so crazy that you really have to take every threat seriously. But
yeah, stalking is one. I've been in the victim services field for almost 14 years, and stalking cases are always some of the scariest and most severe that we work. But especially when you're thinking about somebody like a celebrity, especially a musician, because the people that are stalking them, they feel like they have this insight into their soul. Like they feel like they know them through their music. They're out there in interviews and out in the public. So people that they've never met in their entire life think that they know everything about them.
Yeah, it's also weird too, because like I've had to deal with both sides of where female stalking a man or a man stalking a woman. It's so crazy to me because I think that to your point, where everyone is just because you travel the world, you're on top TV talk shows, and your song's number one in all these places, people feel entitled to go. At what point does the stalker go like, I deserve more than what they're already putting out?
Yeah.
Because outside the 2-hour performance each night, these artists, or maybe there's a specific meet and greet type thing, but outside that stuff, artists and celebrities don't owe you more than what you already know them for. And that's why the whole thing is so crazy when you get like the TMZ or like Star Magazine stuff, where it's just the tabloid filter garbage. It's just crazy. But people latch onto that, and now you have the girl years ago that won The Voice and runner-up, the girl that was shot backstage by some crazy guy with her brother right next to her. And stuff like that where Las Vegas or these people, it's just Bataclan, Manchester with Ariana Grande, Dimebag Darrell, Pantera getting shot on stage by a veteran. It's like, so that stuff is always there. I mean, I probably at every tour I deal with a bomb threat, unattended bag, where you have to possibly evacuate the building. Yeah, it's crazy. It's fun. It keeps you on your toes, but and I don't know. I don't want to come off the wrong way, but when you deal with it enough, I get so numb to it where I don't actually mind it. I prefer that every day was perfect, but like you guys, if you get enough experience with something, it's like you're there for a reason. You're confident, able to sort this thing out.
So I talk to a lot of law enforcement guys, and I know this is a real thing in us that work with apex predators as well. Complacency becomes a real thing in a job where you're dealing with a lot of the same situations over and over again.
Yeah.
How do you keep that from being a thing?
It kind of goes back to what I said before, the podcast is that perfect yin and yang where it kind of keeps me refreshed every other day when I'm doing one or the other. But for me, it's like if I do a festival, like I was just in this festival in outside. It's in Clichy, France. It's called Hellfest. It's one of the biggest in the world. I was there with Motley Crue, Def Leppard, and we're talking 80,000 people in front of you. And I've done that festival 7 or 8 times with other bands. And the setup has never changed. But one of the things I noticed is that the people changed. Because of the pandemic, new people came in and went. It's not the same old people. I don't mean old in a bad way, but people that have been there for so long that know the people and know how to interact with artists and stuff. And I realized that I deal more with the complacency of other people who don't know their jobs.
Gotcha.
Where it's like it's tough for me to do my gig when someone I know that should know their job is complacent. Oh, it's just another artist, or it looked like that laminate was supposed to go back there, or that wristband fell off, so I'm going to trust this person that they actually are the cousin to the singer. And so it's like, for me, I can't afford, in my line of work, to be complacent because an artist, not only do I have to secure and protect the artist and the artist's family, but if that artist gets hurt, whether it's falling off stage or gets stabbed or we don't do the right escort out, we get rammed at a traffic light. It's like people lose their jobs, and so I always kind of keep that back in my mind. But it's just sometimes if I'm overtired or I feel like I've done this show a million times, nothing to go wrong, I'll change it up. I'll walk somewhere else. I'll get lost in places just to see if I can find my way out.
I saw a social media post you had on the other day talking about that. What the singer, I don't know what band it was, jumped off the stage and started running through the crowd. So you got off the stage and you started going through the crowd and hopping things and following them and going through it. That's got to be kind of it's a sensory overload, right? Kind of at that point.
Yeah, it's a rush for me. The other thing too, so that was Brad, the singer of Shinedown, and the crowd and the fans respect him so much when he has the microphone in his hand that there's been 2 situations where I've been in a crowd with him. This one time we were in Switzerland. I think it was the Greenfield Festival in 2017 or 2018. We were talking 40,000 people right down. We split the crowd down the middle, and this guy's running up to him. Now, he wasn't malicious or anything, but you put a couple of beers inside a 200-pound, 250-pound Swedish kid. Like, it's gonna be a hard-charging bull, and so I have to take this guy down all while walking forward with him, making sure he's not bothered by the people. So it's like stuff like that happens. But I don't know. Like I feel super confident in that chaos. It's like
that's a lot. That's a lot to digest. That's a lot to digest. All these places you've visited? What's your favorite venue and what's your favorite group to work with or favorite artist?
One of my bucket list venues was the Wembley Stadium in London. Just because growing up as a kid, I would always watch the YouTube videos of Live Aid or the famous Queen documentary performance there. And so getting to do that this past summer with Motley Crue, Def Leppard, with, I don't know, like 80,000 fans. When you walk out there, I'm so numb to the celebrity stuff, whether it's world leaders or whatever. But as a kid, there's you hear certain songs or you hear certain cassette tapes your dad would play for you and stuff, or you see these videos, like, I'd love to work there one day. So when I walked out there, and I get goosebumps right now talking about it because it was like cathartic to me. Like I felt like I was just sluggish, but I was moving in real time. But I was like, I'm doing something. I'm putzing around, drinking a Mountain Dew, kicking a soccer ball in Wembley Stadium while these guys are sound checking. I'm looking around going, here's this kid of me watching this stuff, watching Freddie Mercury up there, watching Phil Collins fly in the helicopter and do all this stuff, and just like, this is incredible.
Yeah, that's neat.
That's like hard for me. I mean, the venues that everyone always talks about, like the Gorge or Red Rocks or Madison Square Garden, they're all great to say I've done them 100 times, but they're the worst venues to load in and actually work because of the infrastructure. And so I feel bad for the crews they have to do it, but the show looks great. Funny story, we just did a show with Shinedown in Philly with Billy Idol opening, and I brought my cassette tape that I remember my dad would play and would play in the car for me, and the Rebel Yell, and I actually had Billy sign it. It was such a cool thing because, like, again, another part of my childhood where I'm the work I'm doing right now is letting me kind of like fulfill, like, oh my God, I used to listen to this guy in the car with my dad all the time, and here he is signing the same cassette tape. And so it's like moments like that and places like that I kind of always put in the back of my mind, like, oh, okay, cool. But I don't know. Like, I would love to do Central Park. I think doing a show there would be amazing. I know watching the Simon Art Garfunkel, or Paul Simon Art Garfunkel performance in Central Park back in the day. And I remember Dave Matthews Band did a performance there. So, like, as a kid, I watched the stuff, like, it's cool to work there. And slowly but surely, I'm starting to knock off all those bucket list things, and it's kind of surreal to me.
There you go. You've been to a lot of places, man. Your passport's been filled up a lot of times over, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's 7 times, I think.
Goodness gracious. So what about your favorite artist or personality to work with?
This is going to come off super cliche. I never talk ill will of anyone I've worked with.
Sure, yeah.
Now, there are some that are just, I don't know. Like, I don't want to wish ill will. There's some that are pretentious, where their egos are unchecked, where you can see them falling apart at the seams. They don't want to help themselves. How am I supposed to help you type people?
Yeah.
That's honestly, I'll give you a genre. The genre that's the most awful to work in is the pop.
I am not surprised by that.
It's all, yeah. So we're talking all the celebrities in that world are just, the people around them are hanger-ons. It's just fueled by ego and greed and it's just chasing clout. Whereas rock and roll and country, now especially country now, I mean, I would have loved to have experienced the Waylon Jennings and the Johnny Cashes, the Chris Christophersons back in that old country era. But working with Morgan Wallen, us working with Morgan today, it's just, they're generally good people. I working with artists, especially in country or Americana rock, that are just like, they're blue-collar people. And those are the people I'm fortunate to work with. And I'm also in a position now where I don't have to work with the band if I don't like their message or their belief system. I'm not saying they're not bad people, but I can put someone else to do it. I can choose to be with people I am. And working with bands right now like Shinedown, Nickelback, Mudvayne, Motley Crue, Def Leppard, they're all great people. Their families are great. They're not perfect people, but they're all great people. And I think people resonate with the music because they are very hard on your sleeve. What you see is what you get type people. Those are the people I like working with.
There you go. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Always good to surround yourself with good people. Makes a huge difference in your life.
Yes.
John, I appreciate you taking the time to chat with us today. I
have one little story though. It's funny.
No, tell me.
Yeah. So the other day, one of my friends were going through Chicago, and someone brought up. I forget the name of the bar. It was near like a Portillo's. What's that hot dog place? Portillo's?
Yeah, Portillo's. Yeah.
I'm trying to think which one it was, but there's a picture. It was the picture of you holding Chance the Snapper, and someone was like, "Dude, what?" The person next to me goes, "What the hell is that?" I go, "Oh, that's Frank with Chance the Snapper," and he's like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "How do you know that? Like you know this guy?" Well, I can call him right now and verify that that's him. But it's just funny because this is someone who lives in Chicago that they had no idea that what this story was. Yet I have people in other states that would be, when we were on the podcast, they were like, "Oh my God, you talked to that guy that caught the snapper." It's just so weird. Social media, like how people get information. But I was dying laughing. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's Frank with Chance the Snapper. And he's like, what the hell are you talking about?
Oh, man, that cracks me up. Yeah, it's funny, when I was on your podcast, I had people that I've met in the celebrity world that were calling me and going, How did you meet John? How did you end up on the Spear Talk podcast? I was like, I don't exactly know how it happened. John just called me and said, hey, do you want to do this? And I was like, by all means, I don't ever tell anybody no. Sure, I'm happy to do it.
Yeah,
and, yes, it was funny.
It's that whole rabbit hole thing where it's like I always, like, I try to I try to go through different, whether it's learning about the mafia, law enforcement, Second Amendment, conservation, self-defense. So I try to verify, like, just try to go through different, like, things where I don't bore the people each week. But I've always gravitated towards the wildlife conservation and stuff like that. And I've always been fascinated by, like, the Everglades and the research and the tagging of animals and tracking. And so I was like, that's kind of how I found you, because I'm like, honestly, it was that Chance the Snapper. I'm like, God, I got to get this guy on. Yeah,
that was a fun conversation. We've had a couple of we share a couple of friends now through the podcast world.
Yeah,
I know you've had Jason on your podcast, and
yes,
he's a great guy and a dear friend. And I'm so glad you guys hooked up and have had a couple of cool conversations together.
No, he's awesome.
Yeah.
His episode actually launches next week for me.
Does it? Okay. Yeah, it's this will be out next week for us, so we'll talk about that on there too. But if people want to find your podcast and more about you and the stuff you're doing, where can they go?
So if you just go to, whether it's Spotify, iTunes, anywhere you get like streaming podcasts, just type in Spear Talk, it'll pop up. The YouTube channel is called Spear Talk. You just type it in, it'll pop right up. And in terms of social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, God, there's so much. Rumble, I have no idea what's even out there, but
there's a lot
of
things.
All those, Spear Talk, you just type it in, you'll pop right up. And then, I got my own personal stuff. You just find me by my name. And, it's I find social media it's a necessary evil to kind of get good positive messages out like this. I love it.
It's true. And since I talked to you last, I started my my run in the security world. I did Apple TV security down here. I kept people safe from getting eaten by alligators, apparently.
I love it.
Yeah, I think that was Scarlett Johansson and Channing Tatum. Yes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that was a strange one. They were shooting a movie down here at the Kennedy Space Center, and they wanted people to keep them safe from alligators. So.
I love it.
Yeah, that I think I can handle. Crazy sending people hair. I don't know if I'm up from that one, John. I don't think I want to belly up at that bar, buddy.
If you get an envelope for me that's filled with my beard hair,
I will send you one right back. Is what I will do.
That's just another day in the office for me.
You have too much beard, though. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll send you. You send me a clip of yours. I'll send you a clip of mine. Mine's a lot scarier than yours is right now.
Yes.
I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for taking the time to chat with us for real. This has been a great time, and I appreciate you. Thank you for what you do, and hope you have a wonderful afternoon, buddy.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
All right. See you, bub.
Thanks, Frank. Bye.
All right, guys. Another one in the book.
Indeed.
Yeah, he's a very interesting man. Yeah, it's we've had some really cool guests on this year so far.
Yeah. Well, that's got to be an incredible life. I mean, you travel, all that travel.
Yeah, he's traveling all the time. Like, if you follow him on social media, which, again, he has one under his name, and then he has the Spear Talk podcast, and the guy is all over the place, man. Like, legit, I thought I did a lot of things until I started following. It's funny how you have these ideas that you're busy,
right.
Which, I mean, we're all pretty dang busy.
Sure.
And then you see somebody like that, and you're like, how is that?
I am an underachiever.
Yeah, how do you actually keep yourself healthy and do all that stuff?
Yeah.
But like he's saying, that's what keeps him healthy, is doing all that stuff. That's a beautiful balance when you find it. When you can finally find what that is that keeps you going and keeps you happy and healthy.
Sure.
It's good medicine. Literally good medicine.
Absolutely.
Anything exciting going on with y'all the rest of the week? We have a football game tonight.
Yeah.
Who in the world is this school we're playing against?
It's Fleming Island.
I ain't never heard of Fleming Island. That was
a bedroom community of Jacksonville, I think.
A bedroom?
Yeah, bedroom community. I mean, they're not
like the suburbs.
Like, they don't have factories
the
or
burbs.
anything like that.
I've never heard the term bedroom community either.
You have
Titusville used to be called
a bedroom community?
We were a bedroom community
You've
to
heard
Orlando.
That. Yeah.
Yes.
This is a common phrase,
Most of
Frank.
us speak English. And,
All right, I just feel like an idiot now. So
I've
never heard that before in my
English.
entire life. Never heard bedroom community.
Yes, and so they're a big school. I think they're like 2,500 kids.
Wow.
So
Holy moly.
So they might be a little bit deeper than we are.
Okay.
Oh.
So it's going to be a challenge. It's going to be a challenge. It's not going to be a cakewalk.
So I always try to find someone on the field every week to give a hard time to. Can you give me an idea who should give a hard time to on the field? They gave me a microphone, Bill. So
on the chain gang, Chris Bainbridge.
Chris Bainbridge.
Yep, he's on the chain gang.
All right, Chris
Bainbridge.
Bainbridge.
Yeah, there you go.
Chris Bainbridge.
Yep.
Okay. We'll call attention to him.
Do that.
Oh, I 100% will. Yeah.
That'll work.
I try to find somebody every week. Bill got it the first week pretty
well,
bad.
We're also, this game, they're having a teacher tailgate. So a bunch of teachers are going to be down by the tennis courts down there on the track.
Okay.
In that area.
They say if you call me and give me, text me and give me a couple of names, and I'll call them out during the game.
Okay. Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah. I enjoy messing with people. It's quite a bit of fun. I'm not going to not take the opportunity.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I'm not worried. Am my terrier bark getting better or worse?
No, your terrier bark's great. Spot on, man.
Is it spot on?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I appreciate that.
I'm like, what's he doing with a dog up there?
It's to do that on a first down or like a turnover, and then watching everybody turn around and go, what in the heck is happening up there?
They're like, yeah, why's he got a dog?
Yeah, what is wrong with that guy? Oh, Lord, it's good times. All right, guys, you ready to end this episode?
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap it up then. All right, y'all. Thank you for tuning in to the EEARSS podcast. Again, produced by Terrier TV here at Titusville High School. Want to give a quick A quick thank you to Pat Fisher Nissan for sponsoring EEARSS, kind of helping us out, doing so much to kind of keep us going here. If you are looking for a new car or vehicle, even a used car or vehicle, stop over and see Pat Fisher at Pat Fisher Nissan. All right, guys. We'll catch you all next week. Bye-bye.